Okay, I'm going to teach you how to name ions. In general, there are two different types of ions. There are metal ions and there are non-metal ions. And you approach them a little bit differently. So what I'm going to start with is naming some of the metal ions. So we're going to take a look at this periodic table. You want to look at this side because I gave you two, remember? Not this one, but this one. Okay? Take a highlighter. And what I'm going to have you do is highlight the metals that have assigned charges. So those are the metals that have the shading over them. So remember, anything in group 1A has an assigned charge of +1. Anything in 2A has an assigned charge of +2. Aluminum is +3, zinc is +2, silver is +1. Okay? Anytime you're naming a metal that has an assigned charge, you simply name the metal and you write ion on the end. It's really, really easy. Okay? Anytime you're naming a non-metal, the non-metals are to the right of the stair step, remember? And their charges go down to the stair step. So like this -1 above 7A goes down, -2 goes down here to TE, -3 goes down to AS, this -2 goes down to SI, right? So when you're doing the non-metals, you change the ending to "ide" and you add ion on the end. So if you're looking at table 5.4 at the bottom of the chapter 7 handout right here on the first page, it gives you a list of some common non-metal ions and how you take the base or the root name and you change the ending to "ide. Like fluorine becomes fluoride, chlorine, chloride, bromine is bromide, iodine is iodide, oxygen is oxide, sulfur is sulfide, nitrogen is nitride. Okay? Okay, you want to make a little note on your periodic table that your non-metals are going to end in "ide" because there are tons of little rules in this chapter and you've got to keep track of them. Okay? So if you need to go back and color code the non-metals to the right of the stair step and then write "ide" next to them, please do it. Okay? All right, now, for the metals that are not shaded in the middle of the periodic table and the metals that are also underneath the stair step, those are a little bit different. Those, we name the metal and then whatever the charge is, because these metals can have varying charges. It could be +1, +2, +3, +4. It just depends upon how many electrons they lost. So that's why they can have varying charges and we don't assign them. And you have to use a Roman numeral to indicate the charge on the metal. So conveniently, on this periodic table it says require Roman numeral in the middle, and it shows you which section requires a Roman numeral. Okay, so if you need to color in all of the transition metals, including the ones under the stair step, except don't color in aluminum, zinc, and silver because those have assigned charges, then go ahead and color in the transition metals that require the Roman numerals to help you remember. Okay, this is really, really important. Okay, so we're going to do some practice. We're going to take a look at student exercise number 3 in the chapter handout. So it says, provides a formula for the following: monoatomic cations or anions. So if I'm doing the barium ion, you've got to first find where barium is on the periodic table. It's over here, okay? It's in group 2A. It has pink over it, has an assigned charge. There's a +2 above that group. So what you're going to do is you're going to write BA with a +2 charge, and that's it. That is the formula. That is all you write. Okay? For B, we're looking at the cobalt Roman numeral 2 ion. When you have a Roman numeral, that means it's a transition metal in the middle, and that's the charge on the ion. So for cobalt, it's CO, and then the Roman numeral is the charge. The charge will always be positive on a metal. For C, which is the fluoride ion, fluorine is a nonmetal. It's on the right-hand side of the periodic table. It's over here. Okay, that's why it's ending in "ide," and you're going to put F. And then if you look above fluorine, there's a -1. That's the charge for any element in that group. So you put F -1. Then we're going to do the oxide ion. That's oxygen, right? Because if it ends in "ide," that means it must be a nonmetal. Above oxygen on the periodic table is a -2. So you're going to write O, -2. And that's all you do. So on the homework for naming ions, it is so important that you do this alone because I need you to be able to reference the periodic table and get all this information yourself, okay? Because everything builds in this chapter. So what I've done here is I have divided everything up based upon whether it is a metal with an assigned charge, or whether it's a transition metal that requires a Roman numeral, or whether it's a non-metal. So what I first did was I categorized them that way on the front. So here you are simply writing their name. Make sure you write ion on the end, and I specifically stated that in the directions, so please read the directions. Then what I did was on the next page, I'm going from the name of the ion to the symbol of the ion, like we did right here, okay? And again, these are all categorized by whether they're non-metals, transition metals, or metals with assigned charges. Then what I did was I have mixed everything up, names and formulas on the bottom, and then on to the next page. So what you're going to do is get used to having them all mixed up, because that's usually how it is on a homework assignment. Okay? So good luck. If you have any questions, just ask me.